besties, and welcome to this new video, exactly a year after I started this channel. Today officially marks the first anniversary of me posting my first YouTube video. On this day, because I'm literally filming this on the anniversary day. But you know, it's been a ride, honestly. 35 videos later, and we're sitting here again filming the video a year later that started everything and was my first video. So here are the books we are going to be discussing today. So I'd say let's just start. And the first question is, how many books have I read so far this year? And let me grab my Goodreads, because I think last year this time of year I had about 50. I'm not sure. But this year my goal for the entire year is 50. So that changed. But I have read 31 books so far this year, which I did a lot of reading last week. So I think that probably is the reason why I have gone up a few books lately. So that is the answer. 31 books. And best books I've read so far this year, I have a few, but we're going to start with the book that I've read first, which is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, and it's the third book in the When in Rome series, and I love this book. I was talking when this book was released, or even before it was released, I was talking to my best friend like, I need that book. I need it. But I was on a book buying ban. So one day I get a message from my best friend, are you home after work tonight? And I was like, yeah, why? She sends me a picture of her holding this book, because she bought it for me. So it's a good book, but it also has like a fun story for me personally to it, which adds even more. And I love this book. It is 5 stars, and I still think about it. I've talked about this book a lot, so I'm not going to go over what every book is about, but it's about Emily, who is the oldest Walker sibling, and Jack Bennett, who is her colleague, nemesis, neighbor, rival, everything. But I love this book. Then I have one that I have only read, I think 2 weeks ago now, which is a recent release too, and it's Rewinded Back by Liz Stamford, the last book in the Windy City series. And it's about Hallie and Rio, who are childhood sweetheart, childhood friends, then broke up, grew apart, and reunited, and are now neighbors. And she's renovating his house. So, you know, but I love this book. It has a lot of tabs, as you don't see, because I've learned my lesson. It is a second chance, so obviously it has some flashbacks, and normally I'm not a big fan of flashback scenes, but with this book I didn't mind. Also, not to forget to mention, this book cured my month-long reading slump. I've been in a reading slump probably since the beginning of this year, probably even before the year started. And this book cured it all, because in less than 2 weeks I have read 5 books, 4 books, I don't know, which is a lot, given that I've only read like 31 in a whole year so far. So I really like this one. Then another second chance. I remember reading this book, and it was in like a whole period of time where I've read so many second chance romances. I have like a trope tracker on my reading journal, and every time I finished a book I had like to check second chance, second chance, second chance, I don't know. But it's Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I think it's also the last book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. But it's about Cam and Dusty. And I don't know, she's also a single mom, so that's adds to the story. I think this entire book was so beautiful. Really love that book. Plus, my only exception for only giving 3 books per question, because I had to honorably mention it, and it's Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young, because listen to me, this book is different than all of the romance books I've read ever, because normally you start a romance book and they don't like each other, or they like each other and they hit it off, but they still have to get together. This book, they're already married. So I liked that point of view on the book, and I liked how that story evolved. Plus, I also liked how it was portrayed that Sarah was struggling with herself and her own identity in her marriage, and how they were on like this retreat kind of thing in the nature, to like find themselves back. And I don't know, I liked how the struggles were shown. I think that Hannah Bonham Young is a really talented writer in that aspect, because Out on a Limb was also very realistic and very relatable to some people. And I like that. And this one is just the same, so I had to mention it. Then I have the best sequel I've read so far this year, and I've pretty much only read series, but I don't think like you can call a second book in a series, in a romance series, a sequel, because it's not about the same people. So the closest thing that came to mind was, which isn't a sequel, it's book 3 and the final book, but let's forget that for a second. It's Fearless by Lauren Roberts. My only hardcover that I own, which is not true. I have one. Where is it? Oh, it's there. I have one other, which was a special edition, but I love this one because I love this. This is gorgeous. I don't remember a lot about it because I'm really bad at all that sort of thing. But this story continues where book 2 left off, and I liked like the storyline in it. It had a lot of cool moments. I don't know how many stars I've given it. If it's 4 or 5, I'm not sure. But I like it. And honestly, I don't have a lot of things to say about the book. I've annotated a lot once again because honestly, no, I remember I read this book in a doing bookish things vlog, because I remember saying reading like the certain quotes, and I read this one. My gaze scans the room, body shuddering in pain as I search for him. I'm frantic, eyes fumbling over unfamiliar faces. Damn the pretending, damn the hiding, damn everything but him and us in this moment where I need him. But he's nowhere to be found, and for the first time since stealing those silvers from him on Loot Alley, I feel utterly alone. A laugh threatens to slip past my numb lips. It's not as though she hadn't promised to be my ruin, hadn't already become my demise. She is the single most destructive thing I have ever desired, and yet it is a diamond on her finger that will destroy me. I watched Peyton through the gaps of a gawking crowd, just as I will for the rest of my life. I'll be forced to spend my days at her service, but never at her side. In her shadow, but never truly seen, in love with a girl I'd bowed to long before she became my queen. I love that. I feel like that was chapter 2. So when I read that, I had to take a moment, obviously, which honestly makes sense. So yeah. Next question. is new release I haven't read yet but want to, and I have 3 that I have bought but I haven't read yet because I simply didn't have the time, didn't feel like it. It's been a while since this one came out, and I think the other 2 were like more recent. But the first one is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and I like her work. I have read every book from her, and I actually don't have a single clue what this book is about. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them, and the only thing better than one perfect memory is to make a life, and even a love, worth remembering. I like this. And then another one. It's What Happens in Amsterdam by Rachel and Solomon. Falling in love with your husband is anything but convenient in a steamy romance. And I like that it's set in Amsterdam because I don't think a lot of books have been set in Amsterdam, so I like that. It's a new vibe. And then a book that has a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of hate before it was even released, which is insane. But Ali Hazelwood is probably one of my favorite authors. I have every single book. Once again, Love Hypothesis was one of the first 5-star books I've ever read. I still think about it. I still want to reread it and rebuy it just to annotate it all over again. But the book here mentioning is Problematic Summer Romance, and I love this cover. It blinks. But when she first started promoting this book, it says that there was an age gap romance, so people were already hating on the age gap. But that didn't sign me off. No. I was like, sign me up. So I bought it. Actually, I think this is a book that I will probably read soon. Like, I think it sounds amazing, and I like Ali Hazelwood's writing. So yeah, I like this. Plus, I saw a TikTok yesterday about the book, but I don't know what it was anymore, so that's great. But yeah, I'm so excited to start that one. Next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I have 3 once again. I have Love Arranged, which is the 3rd book in the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, and it's an arranged marriage book. Then I have Wild Cards by Elsie Silver, which is the 4th book in the Rose Hill series, and it's again an age gap because it's son's ex-girlfriend trope kinda, and I'm so excited for that one because honestly, come on. And then I have Nevermind. It comes out in January. Sad. But honorable mention, it is In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams, and it's the 4th book in the When in Rome series. Again, really excited because, as I said, Backboard or Steel is one of my favorite books ever. Plus, the entire When in Rome series are all 5 stars. I love that book series so much. That was dramatic. So much. Then I have The Biggest Surprise, and then I have 1 book, and it's Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I've read The House Across the Lake over a year ago, and I had high expectations because I've seen so many people give it a high rating and liking it, that I just thought I was gonna like it too, but honestly, I didn't really enjoy it all that much. But before I read that one, I bought 2 other Riley Sager books. And I thought one day, now is the time to read Survive the Night. I just was feeling like it. I have read romance books for the whole year, so I thought maybe it's time for a mystery thriller kind of book. And it survived the night. And I read this in another reading vlog where I read, I think it's a Tackle My TBR episode 1 video, and I like that book. I gave it 4 stars because 5-star is for me a feeling that you want to give, like you have with the book, and I didn't really have it with this one, but it is a good book nonetheless. I like that it's set in like one evening. As you can see, it has like the time, where they at in the evening, printed, so I like that. It reminds me a bit of 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. That one has it too because it's also set in one night, but it's about a college student, Charlie, university. Charlie, who meets Josh Baxter through a university rideshare scheme. Is that the right word? On the road they share their stories, but she wants to leave university and go back to live with her grandma because her best friend was killed. And then she discovers some things about Josh, and she thinks that he is a serial killer that killed her best friend. That isn't a spoiler because it's literally the entire thing on the back. And I liked it because it had plot twists and I was shocked some moments. It was kind of expected though. At some moments I felt like I knew what was going to happen, but I still had plot twists and shocking moments, which I love because even though I think I know what was going to happen, I still had a plot twist, so that's amazing. I like that. And that was pretty much my only surprise for the year. So next question, favorite author, debut or new to you? And I have 2. Where did I put the books? In here. So let's start with the first one. The first 2 books that I've read this year, plus the only 2 books that I've read in January, are both by this author. And it's Jessica Joyce. It's from You with a View and The X-Files, which are both amazing books. I like them. And I think those are her only 2 books published so far. I don't know when or if she is going to come out with a new one, but I like the dedication of The X-Files, which is for past me who didn't give up and for future me who will look back on all of this and be so proud. I like that. Yeah, so both of these books are amazing. This is about Noelle, who finds decades-old photos and letters that hint to a forbidden love in her grandmother's past. So she posts a TikTok and it goes viral. Then someone comments, "That is my grandpa." They meet up and they go on a trip that her grandmother and his grandfather were supposed to go on. They go on the trip with his grandfather because her grandmother passed away. So I like that one. And this, The X-Files, is about Georgia and Eli, who broke up 5 years ago. They have a mutual best friend who is about to get married, so they want to go do everything for his wedding. But everything goes wrong, and you know, they try to save the wedding. So yeah, and then I also have another author who I think is pretty popular right now. And I had her books on my TBR for a really long time. And those were the 3 books that I've read last week. It's Live and Well's Seeing Red and Change of Heart by Bailey Hannah. These are cowboy romances. This one is a workplace romance. This one is an accidental pregnancy romance, and this one, once again, is a second chance. I gave all 3 of them 4 stars because I generally had a great time reading them. I didn't fall into a reading slump reading them. I flew through them too because I read all of these in under 5 days. Most beautiful cover, and then is a series that I have done a lot of talking about on this channel. And I wasn't going to let this opportunity slip away. But yeah, it's the Ruby Cove series by Bridie Charles. I love this series so much. These 3 have all been 5 stars for me. And I love this. These are debut novels, debut series. This is book 2, Burn for You, book 3, Chasing You, and book 1, Bound to You. And these were all published in less than a year. That's crazy to me. But I love like the whole color schemes going on. First book is pinkish and blue. I like the light blue and the dark blue from his like button up. Then the green, blue, orange vibe. I love this. And then the darker red vibe. I don't know. I just love this series and the covers so much. So yeah, it's crazy to think about because last year I read the arc for Bound to You. Then I think in February I read the arc for Burn for You. And then last month I read the arc for Chasing You. So I still have to reread these 2 in the paperbacks. But I did read this one already and annotated it, so I cannot wait to reread Burn for You and Chasing You and annotate them. Because honestly, come on, I love the book. Then, how many 5 stars so far? I genuinely did not know. So let me go back to the Goodreads. 11 5 stars so far. Out of the 31 books, that's great, honestly. That's amazing. And then, what books do I want to reread? It's about a bit the same answer as the previous covers. Definitely book 2 and 3 in the Ruby Cove series by Bridie Charles, because I just want to annotate them. And I follow Bridie on Instagram, and every time she posts like a teaser or something about the book, one of the books, I just want to reread them and annotate them and just have a fun time, because I know it's gonna be a fun time rereading them again. So definitely those 2. I've already done 5 rereads so far this year, so that's amazing. But I bought, as a birthday gift for myself, I bought like the newest covers around December was that, from the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver, because I love that series. I am obsessed with that series. Probably my fave ever. And I wanted the new covers because I really like love them. Oh, so beautiful. I don't know. It just does something to me. So I reread all of these and also annotated them. I have an entire post to each book dedicated on my Instagram, which is in the description, that you can see if you want to see my annotations. But yeah, I love these books. Plus, I also did a reread of The Right Move by Liz Dunford because, I don't know, I just felt like it. And then I have the final question. 5-star predictions. Well, hear me out. This is a stack of new releases that I still have to read. I feel like Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood is definitely going to be a 5-star. Definitely love her range too, because anything Lauren Asher writes, I love. I've read all of her books. All of them are 5 stars probably. Maybe Wildcard 2 by Elsie Silver, because come on, age gap romance. I'm so excited to read those. So yeah, this was the video. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, it would help my channel so much. Don't forget to like, comment if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, because let's just chat about them. And thank you for hanging out with me this year. It's been a ride, so I'll see you guys soon. Bye.